You're listening to the Sisters-in-Laws podcast, a faith-based podcast that spotlights Black women who replace silence with storytelling around pregnancy and infant loss and infertility. Black women experience miscarriage and stillbirth 4 to 5 times more likely than white women, according to the NIH and CDC. Whether you've experienced a miscarriage, infant loss, stillbirth, are trying to conceive, or have an infertility diagnosis, you will learn about resources and strategies to heal, gain clarity, peace, hope, and find an empowering path forward after loss. I'm your host, Erica M. McAfee, and you will hear me interview sisters-in-laws who have healed from such a painful and traumatic experience by sharing their testimonies and stories to inspire and help others turn their pain into their purpose. Now let's get started. Welcome to episode 182 of the Sisters-in-Laws podcast. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. I have not been behind the mic since July, and so much has transpired since then, but we have made it to the end of the year, and I'm happy to say we have made it whole. Many of us started this year with the expectation of greatness, ambition to take on the world, start that new business, write that new book, launch that new product, travel to a new country, and just live a life after loss that was unimaginable. Then our world was paused in March as COVID-19 and coronavirus shut down the world, literally. Travel and many businesses, especially small businesses, have had to close their doors permanently. Many of our family and friends have been diagnosed with COVID-19. Some have recovered, or even worse, have gone to be angels in heaven. 2020 has been the year of the unexpected for us. And for me, I started this year with my word of the year being resilient. So in today's episode, I'm going to deep dive into a little bit about just how I've maintained throughout 2020, which has been one of my best years in business and with this podcast monetarily and just the recognition that I've received. But I really want to just talk about how we just made it here. Like, we are here. You are listening to this podcast. You've made it through Thanksgiving, through Christmas, and now we're at the brink of 2021, very much so in a different state of mind. And I just really want to deep dive into how collectively I feel that we should go into 2021, and then just really talk about how I am going to approach 2021. So if you would like to hear more, just keep on listening. So as I mentioned before, I started this year with my word of the year, resilience. So go back and listen to episode 130 at the beginning of 2020, and you can hear all about me talking about my goals and what resilience means. And then you could go back and even listen to my episode over the summer, my birthday episode, where I talk about just some of my goals that I have in motion. But resilience means the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness, the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape, elasticity. Resilience is you. Resilience is me. I told you all that I was walking into 2020 resilient as ever. And I believe we've had to become more resilient as a collective, as we are all in this sense of collective grief, collective trauma, time of uncertainty. And as this year has unfolded by the nature of events that have happened, we've all become more resilient. So let's revisit just kind of how this year started. I just kind of typed out some of the major events that have rocked my world, but I'm sure has had an impact on you as well. So from starting this year with Kobe and his daughter Gianna tragically passing away, to the world literally shutting down from coronavirus, from watching last year The Watchmen on HBO with our forever auntie and sister, Regina King, and then everyone wearing masks in that show, to literally the world becoming Watchmen and having been required to wear masks everywhere we go. To all of those who fought through the virus and honoring those over 300,000 lives that were lost this year, 2020 has forced us to be resilient. From Congress passing a stimulus bill to help big business and not the marginalized, and DT 45, yeah, we know him, signing checks and letters sent to Americans for the $1,200 stimulus that they did send, to the racial unrest and reckoning of the summer of 2020, losing our Black kings and queens to murder at the hands of the police, to losing our king T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, to election seizing and Majority Whip Jim Clyburn endorsing Joe Biden, to the Momnibus Act being passed in the House, to Kamala Harris being chosen as the vice presidential candidate, to having Joe Biden win the election and the lawsuits and disputes being refused in court, to every week since Election Day, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris being recognized as winners of certain states where election results were being recounted, to on December 14th, when electors elected again for the 100th time Biden-Harris as the president and vice president-elect. 2020 has been a year of resilience and the unexpected. But I'm here to tell you all that we made it. We made it through COVID-19, losing jobs, losing some family members and friends and babies. And we did not lose our minds. Now, we thought we probably were going to lose our minds at some point, but we made it through, guys. We made it through this election season that was just so hurtful and so much confrontation. And now we are on the brink of history, inaugurating our first Black woman, South Asian woman vice president. We made it through what seems like a collective holding of our breath and seeing news turn from decency and professionalism to being full of lies, deceit, and propaganda. I'm holding space for you all who have lost babies, who lost the ability to undergo IVF or IUI treatments this year in cycles, to those who lost the time and the expectation of a baby in 2020. Although we don't know what 2021 holds, we know who holds the future. Ecclesiastes 3:1 states that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And I know that by faith and by prayer and by holding on to hope, that everything that was delayed for you in 2020 will be renewed for you in 2021 in some shape or form. Just keep holding on to hope. But I wanted to open and hold this space for you and recognize that I see you, sis, that I love you, sis, and you've made it through to this year, and you're here and you're listening to my voice as I say this and prophesy this to you. So in my personal life, I started this year knowing that I was ready for a change in my career, my personal life, and really the scenery around me. I ended this year with all of that plus some. I have a new job, a new full-time job. I do have a part-time side gig with your sisters-in-laws that I'm hoping to make full-time. I'm living in a new city. I moved and I have a beautiful high-rise apartment overlooking Tyson's Corner. For those who are in the DMV, holla at your girl whenever you're at the mall. I'm right here. But I will say that I manifested this, but in reality, I really just surrendered to God's call on my life. In my personal life, this year started in the hospital for us with my son, my rainbow baby, Maxwell, who we affectionately call Super Mighty Max. He spent 25 of the 29 days in February in the hospital with some unknown virus. I mean, we don't know if he had COVID-19 at the time, but whatever the virus was, they were unable to diagnose it. And we ended up getting released from the hospital on March 4th because COVID had become more rampant across the country. And the doctors knew that we could handle his condition at home. So without going into much detail about Max, why Max was in the hospital and all of that, but he came into the hospital one way and his body was completely shaken up and we left the hospital almost in a little bit worse state. So my world drastically changed because not only did he have to receive more specialized care, we were doing procedures that we've never done before on Maxwell. His body just shut down and we were faced with the news of really helping him survive along with all of the other 24/7 care that he needs to live. So we ended up this year in the hospital at least 10 more times for various reasons, with some overnight stays during the pandemic. Needless to say, I'm happy that we made it to the end of 2020 and are on the brink of 2021. This year has tested my faith in God in being a parent to a child with a disability and special needs. And he was getting bigger. He's 50 pounds and having to lift and carry him. And it's really challenged me physically to be more in shape so that I can carry on the burden of caring for him long term. So also personally, a part of moving, I had to actually apply for jobs during COVID-19. Yes. So I applied, interviewed, and received a job offer for a job just as my company at the time was doing their first layoff of over 10,000 employees due to COVID-19 and the hardships the industry was facing. So I'm in a more stable industry now, the industry that is currently making the vaccine. So that gives me some more sense of job security and insurance, health insurance, to be able to ensure that Maxwell is well taken care of. And I then made my move to the DMV this year. I moved and I got a new job during the pandemic. And then I moved to the DC, Maryland, Northern Virginia area. I sold my home and moved into an apartment all during this pandemic. So when I was reflecting on all of this, I can't imagine doing this any other way. God's timing is perfect and it all happened at the right time. So I've officially been in the DMV for about 6 months and it's been great. I'm a homebody anyways. So this virus and pandemic really hasn't ruined, time for me socializing or being out and about. Obviously, I would be out and about more if there were more things going on and happening. But I have enjoyed the time that I've spent, going out and coming back and just ensuring that I'm taken care of so I'm not passing anything on to my son, Maxwell. So I've had to learn, or I really have leaned into unlearning bad habits that have left me unhappy and unfulfilled. But God is still working on me, sis, just like God is working on you. But I am going to continue to press toward the mark. And I'm excited about just what's going to take place in 2021 as I continue to unlearn those habits, as I continue to really dive deeper into my practice of self-care and self-love, and how that is going to manifest for everyone and everybody that I touch. Hey, sis, I am interrupting this episode from a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Sisters-in-Law Training Institute. Our premier full-spectrum doula training course is now open for registration. Join us for 8 weeks of live virtual training to become a birth, bereavement, and postpartum doula. Do you have becoming a doula on your vision board and part of your 2021 goals? Join us weekly as we deep dive into birth, bereavement, and postpartum techniques to support clients virtually or in person through fertility, pregnancy, labor, loss, and postpartum. For the Sisters-in-Law listeners, you get a 35% off discount to this doula course. Use the code 35OFF at bereavementdoulatraining.com to gain access and register for the training. Payment plans are available by using the discount code 35OFF at bereavementdoulatraining.com. We are excited for you to become a birth, bereavement, and postpartum doula in 2021. So professionally, Sisters-in-Laws was recognized by my congressman, my House Representative, Congressman Donald McEachin of Virginia's 4th Congressional District. And a part of that was me attending as his guest the State of the Union back in February 2020, where I went to DC. I had a day with the Congressional Black Caucus. I met Robin Kelly, the Congresswoman of Illinois, specifically around Chicago. And she's a champion for Black maternal health and all of the health bills that we are talking about right now with the Momnibus. And then I also met Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. I haven't shared that story, and I don't think I shared that story back in the episode when I talked about it. Maybe I'll save that story for another day, but she is a fireball. And then obviously seeing all of the other faves in Congress up close and personal, especially Nancy Pelosi and Ayanna Pressley. So many more people that I actually got to see up close in person. May not have actually had a conversation with them, but just being in the presence of powerful women who are fighting for the marginalized and for change is where I felt like I needed to be. So it was an absolute honor to be selected to attend the State of the Union right before shutdown, even with this current administration and during election season. Since then, Congressman McEachin nominated me for an Angels of Adoption Award that's given to only 100 nominees across the country. So I'm excited about working with Congressman McEachin on more initiatives for Black moms and babies in Congress. So thank you again, Congressman McEachin and his entire staff, for making me feel welcome and allowing me opportunity to do the things that I love and really fighting for Black moms and babies. In April of 2020, I officially launched, amongst COVID, the Sisters-in-Laws Training Institute. It is our premier birth, bereavement, and postpartum doula training course. My goal was to train at least 100 doulas by the end of 2020, and I've trained over 110. To God be the glory for those who have entrusted me with my expertise, of interviewing over 300 people, working with as a doula, and then serving other doulas with their clients in bereavement, and being able to package that all into a course so that they can go out and be certified and serve their community. So thank you so much to the Sisters-in-Laws doulas who allowed me to hold space for them as they ushered in life and held those who've experienced loss through this pandemic. I absolutely love when you doulas text me, email me your successes, your wins, your losses, and how healing this course has been for you and how healing has been as you go out and support more clients. Your wins are my wins, and we truly all win together. So for those who are interested in becoming a birth, bereavement, and postpartum doula, or what we call a full spectrum doula, where you cover all spectrums in 2020, join us for 8 weeks of live training beginning Sunday, January 18th, 2021. So for the Sisters-in-Laws listeners, I'm offering a 35% off discount code using 35OFF at bereavementdoulatraining.com. In this course, we will tackle everything from fertility, conception, bereavement, funerals, cremation, labor and birth, loss, and love. You will leave this course with the skills to begin your doula business and get 2 free coaching sessions from me and the Sisters-in-Laws team. So join us, because this training is a part of your healing, especially if you want to help other women who have experienced what you have gone through. Once again, your discount code for the listeners is 35OFF at bereavementdoulatraining.com. Being a doula has been a blessing, and now becoming a doula educator has been my purpose fulfilled. I'm excited to bring this course again in 2021 and have set new goals to transition into doing this work full time. So what I've learned from my business this year and nonprofit is that freedom is being fully who God called me to be, no matter what they have to say about it. And that's that on that. As a part of a growing business, I was able to hire 3 professional positions or additional positions to my team on a part-time basis. So thank you to my podcast editor, Patricia, who's been rocking with me for the last 2 years. I added a new video editor. Hey, Chantel, a virtual assistant. Hey, Keisha, and a social media manager. Hey, Valerie. All Black women, all Black-owned businesses, an all-star team. I'm excited about what 2021 will hold with this team to help me run and carry on this business. And I look to adding 2 more positions in 2021 on a part-time basis to help facilitate the Sisters in Loss Training Institute. So I'm excited about growing in business as well. We also had a successful Sisters in Loss Summit in October 2020, and then turned that summit into the Sisters in Loss podcast to video and YouTube. So from the summit, I got so much great feedback. We launched the Healing Collective that you can join as a response of that feedback from the summit, where it's a monthly membership group or a monthly support group where we do monthly book reviews and webinars focused on Black maternal health. So to join the Sisters in Loss Healing Collective, go to sistersinlosshealing.com to register. Our monthly webinar series kicks off on January 9th, 2021. And I'm excited about our 2021 events, including a conference, a retreat, and more YouTube videos on grief and life after loss. Yes, our conference retreat will all be virtual, and we will have an in-person component as time move forward, but they all will be virtual. For those who are overseas, I shout out to my West Africans in West Africa and my London and England sisters-in-laws. We see you guys. I know that you all are tuned in. So I want to make sure that our virtual game is on lock so that you all can participate as well. So this year has been a year of resilience and exponential growth for me. And I'm happy that you all have been really here for the ride. And I'm going to continue to bring you along with me. Thank you so much for supporting everything under Sisters in Loss, as without your love and support, none of this would be possible. Thank you for rocking with your girl and allowing me to be your sister. For those of you who are lurking or shy, reach out and join us. We would love for you to engage us. For those of you who have met in person or we've exchanged emails or talked offline, thank you for trusting me with your words, your story, and your message. I do not take it lightly that this platform is for us to share and be vulnerable. I discussed some 2021 goals in my birthday podcast in episode 176. You can go back and listen to that. But I will say all of those goals are in action, guys. Like, one thing about me is that when I set out to do something, I'm heads down. And I'm going to be focused on that goal. It may take me a while to get there, but I'm going to make some moves to do so. So I've been making moves behind the scenes. And when I'm ready to share, I promise to do so here first, because you've been here for the ride. I will say that my focus word for 2021 is to surrender. I know that 2021 is the year that God's promises will be fulfilled in my life. And I'm ready to walk into my purpose fully, surrendered, with my arms open and raised, ready to receive the blessings that are going to pour down. I'm ready to work harder and go harder than ever. Over the last few weeks, I've been checking in with myself and reflecting. I've been asking myself what I love, what I want to improve on, how I'm grieving, what did I lose and grieve in 2020, and what am I going to celebrate now and not wait until 2021? So I'm asking you those questions here. What you loved? What do you want to improve and take immediate action on? How are you grieving? What did you lose and grieve in 2020? And what are you going to celebrate now and not wait until 2021? So I hope that you all think about how you're going to surrender yourselves into and lean into 2021, because we don't know what 2021 holds. But as I mentioned before, we know who holds the future. So I'm going to surrender. I'm going to open my arms wide and just say, God, have your way. Have your way in my life. Have your way with this business. Lead me where you want me to go. And I'm going to follow wholeheartedly. I'm not going to take the wheel anymore, God. I'm going to let you do what you have to do and order my steps accordingly. So here are those questions again that I want you to reflect on as you think of your own word for 2021. What you loved? What do you want to improve and take immediate action on? How are you grieving? What did you lose and grieve in 2020? What are you going to celebrate now and not wait until 2021? Merry Christmas a week later for you all. Happy New Year, as the new year is in a day. If you're listening to this in live time, this is going live on December the 30th. So happy New Year to everyone. And let's walk into 2021 surrendered, our arms open wide, asking God, any way he blesses us, we're going to be satisfied. So I know that you all are ready to continue to walk into your purpose fully and truly. And I know that God's promises will be fulfilled in 2021 for everyone who is under the sound of my voice. I hope that you all enjoy this 2020 recap and 2021 word of the year from me. Obviously, I'm going to do so many more episodes on the podcast for this year, solo episodes. But I would love for you to join us and connect with us. So there's so many ways to connect with the Sisters in Loss community. Join our Healing Collective monthly support group at sistersinlosshealing.com. Join our Facebook group at sistersinloss.com/community, or text sisters to 797979 to download your free Journal to Healing ebook. That's sisters to 797979 to download your free Journal to Healing ebook. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sisters in Loss TV. Yeah, girl, we are on YouTube. We love that you continue to listen, and we love you for listening. Keep the faith. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon. This is Erica, and you all have a happy 2021. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. There are so many ways to connect with the Sisters in Loss community. Join our monthly support group, our Sisters in Loss Healing Collective at sistersinlosshealing.com. Join our free Facebook group at sistersinloss.com/community, or text sisters to 797979 to download your free Journal to Healing ebook. That is sisters to 797979 to download your free Journal to Healing ebook. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Sisters in Loss, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah, girl, we on YouTube at Sisters in Loss TV. We love you for listening. Keep the faith. Until next time, this is Erica, and I'll talk to you soon.